I'll kick off. So good morning, and thank you for joining us today for the RASA's AGM for 2024. First, some housekeeping. Please ensure that your full name and call sign appear in your display and your video is on. And also, if people could mute their audio, that would be appreciated. Okay, I'm Paul, VK2APA and RASA President, and will be chairing the AGM with the support of the RASA management team. We have with us today, we've got the Vice President, Bob, VK6POP. We've got the Admin Secretary and Acting Treasurer, Ian Jackson, VK3BUF. We have General Secretary Andy Beals, VK4KCS. He's probably there via phone link. The AGM minutes have been taken by Ian, VK3BUF. This year's AGM will be made available for viewing afterwards once uploaded to the RASA YouTube page. There will be a brief Q&A session after the AGM where the team will answer questions. So keep that in mind, put your thinking caps on. You can also, but always remember, you can always ask questions at any time by sending us an email. I'd like to point out that the AGM meeting protocols followed today is fully compliant with our association rules. And I wish to note that the previous minutes from the 2023 AGM have been circulated to all members 21 days prior to this AGM, and that the meeting has been available for viewing for the past year. The membership was polled by email for confirmation that these minutes reflected the proceedings last year and no dissenting feedback was received. Okay, that comes up to the President's report we'll try and make this quick as possible. Most of you have probably read the reports that we've sent out. This is just very much a summary. The AGM marks the beginning of the Society's year, and we reflect the Society's activities over the last 12 months. And 23-24 has been another successful year for RASA. We've launched additional innovative sources for amateur radio in Australia and continued with representation with the ACMA. As far as representation is concerned, we've supplied some feedback on class licensing that's been communicated to us by the members and the general amateur radio community. One of them being the lack of a formal license document, and this is still ongoing. We'll hopefully have a win on that. I think we should, but it's still a matter that's still happening. RASA has responded to the ACMA's amateur repeater and beacons assignment process. They had a consultation. We've supplied a submission. The previous process was erratic, prejudiced, and slow. The submission's last paragraph, the submission that we provided, the last sentence on that simply said, "It is recommended to streamline the assessment and licensing process to make it as straightforward, transparent, and economical as possible." I think that's in the interests of amateur radio. It's a lot more detail. The full submission can be read and found on the RASA's website. Earlier this year, we see clarification aspects of class licensing, and that prompted the ACMA to make some clarifications. RASA continues the push for other things like 1 kilopop output power for advanced licensees, and also we're exploring 60 meters. In other matters, 40 meters, the WIA initiated a review of the 40-meter band plan. RASA consulted and pointed out concerns. The need to engage in active as opposed to passive consultation is essential for the effective band planning to happen, and ensuring that all interests are equally and fairly considered. And it is RASA's view that a simple band plan is best and easiest for the majority.
You can come here. I haven't got the camera going. No,
And
he's been here.
I think we need a mute on somewhere.
Easy ways of doing it. So.
This person who's got administrator up, can you please mute? Okay, sorry about that. But back to what I was saying, we believe that a simple band plan is best. It's easy for the majority to follow and accept, understanding there'll always be exceptions, but if we can achieve a majority level compliance, band harmony should improve. It is RASA's position that the options proposed by the WAA are too complex and are not adequately considered CW users. And again, the RASA submission is available on the website. What else have we been doing? Resources for amateur radio. We've been looking at improving resources available. We've got BK Regs, which is our regulations publication. It's in plain English, and it was written in conjunction with the Radio and Electronics School, and it's just had a refresh reflecting the class license changes. It's available at www.vkregs.info. The Welcome to Amateur Radio Guide, which helps new amateurs with the next steps, has also had an update, and that also can be found on the RASA website. RASA has also continued to present to clubs with QRM Guru, which is a RASA supported initiative. And thanks goes to the supporters of that. A major release for 2024 is the foundation level study guide. This free study guide is based on the updated foundation level curriculum provided by the ACMA. And I'll hand it over to Bob, VK6POP, with a bit more detail on this. You'll need to unmute yourself, Bob.
Here I am. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, as you know, the foundation level study guide was published in early June, I think it was early June. And there's my gorgeous assistant who's holding up a copy of the front page. That's right. And it's been quite a success. It was a large project. It took about 12 months, and I think there were about 12 people involved on the team. Writing stuff, other people were reviewing stuff and checking it. So, yeah, it was a big project, but we got it done. So at the moment, it's published as an online magazine, as is QTC magazine, and also downloadable as a PDF. And we do have plans to make it available as a print version via Kindle desktop publishing. And the difference in our publications, and especially this one, is it's free and anybody can have it. You don't need to be a member of RASA or a Calathumpian or, antediluvian order of buffaloes or anything like that. Hope there's no buffaloes here that I'm offending. I know that one because my grandfather was a member. And so it's free to anybody who wants it. And it's been rather popular. To date, there's been 732. That's as of about 10 p.m. last night, in my time. 732 copies of the PDF downloaded in that short time. So that's about 220 a month. So there's a great deal of interest, and there's actually a great deal of interest from international users too, taking a look at it and downloading it. So it's hit the spot. So yeah, so that's about it. That's a wrap up for that one.
Okay, thanks for that, Bob. Yeah, it's been a good project actually. Looking forward to for the next projects we get involved in getting. Okay, next step is Ian, VK3BUF, who's the acting treasurer, who will now give the financial report. Ian.
Yes, well, good morning all. It's been an interesting year. We've done quite well, I feel, with the subscriptions. We've had a lot of contributors who have paid their renewal fee, their $10, and quite a few who have paid a little bit extra, which helps our bottom line quite a lot. Well, that's an interesting shot there, Paul. You were probably better as you were. I've got a synopsis here, which I'll just go over some of the details. Yeah, we are a pretty much minimalist operation when it comes to how we're using our funding. We've got subscriptions for Member Planet and various websites which we're maintaining, including the QRM Guru site. And there's a little bit more to come on that front. So it all takes time and it all takes money. And what we've got is helping a lot. In May this year, we got together and had a conference to plot our organisation's progress for the next year or so, and that was very successful. We came together, and that was pretty much a self-funded operation, and we caught up with Paul in Maitland, which was good. The other thing that had helped us out but had slowed down a little bit are the ferrite QRM kill kits that we'd been having on offer for the last couple of years. That had been pretty good. I've got down here 261 kits were sold, so there was a lot of postage going out. That had slowed down a little bit, and this year that was about 23, 24 kits went out. And I decided that it's probably going to be good to wind that up, and we'll move on to bigger and better things. It's probably on the trailing edge of the bell curve of the sales. Those who wanted the ferrite kit have got it by and large. So there's only just a couple of those left, and what doesn't go will probably be sent to some various events for door prizes at Hamfests and so forth. So it all goes to a good place in the end. We sent out a lot of welcome packs for those clubs who are doing classes. That a welcome pack consists of a folder of information. I don't have one in front of me, of the Welcome to Amateur Radio and some guides on repeaters and pretty much the things that people need to know if they're going for their foundation license. This has helped us a little bit. I see there's somebody who's popping up as administrator. Could you please mute your microphone, because when you make a noise, you seize control of the screen. Yeah, okay. The welcome packs are probably going to be phased out as well, since we've got our Welcome to Amateur Radio book, which I was holding up before. This is just a laser printed copy. And that's going to eclipse a lot of what happens in that welcome pack. And we've got a couple of other initiatives underway which will take the place of that. Of course, we shifted to a class license model, and that's made a bit of a difference for all of us. We're not having to pay license fees anymore. And in some small way, it helps RASA as well. But on the finances, let's spool to that. Pardon me. There we go. The total revenue income for the year was $5,700 and some cents. This is all in a report that was made available for download a week ago. We sent it out with a bulletin. Expenses were $4,100. Of course, there's a little bit of a synchronization issue, because sometimes we take out subscriptions for more than 12 months on some of the services. For example, in the last financial year, for Member Planet, I think we took out a 3-year subscription, but that has a bit of an impact on the current year. Our net position's just over $1,500. And our assets, not a lot of assets in the organisation. We have a savings account and a trading account, and they're treated separately. The way that works is income via PayPal. It arrives in our trading account. Yeah, there's not a lot more I would say about that. The detail is in the report as is online, but I guess the biggest point is that we are doing okay. We're meeting our expenses, and there's a little bit to help with some of our project work. We have sent some small amounts to major events where there's been an interest in amateur radio, like Perth Tech, and a small amount for Antenna Palooza. We're talking about $100 at a time, but just a little bit to help out those events. Okay, I'll leave it at that. We can probably do a little bit of a wrap up with some Q&A afterwards if anyone has any specific questions. Has been provision for people to pop up and submit questions leading up to the AGM, and I haven't received any correspondence, so there's no specific questions that I've asked to respond to today. Back to you, Paul.
Thanks there, Ian. And yeah, never hesitate to email us or ask questions that way as well. We do respond to emails. Okay, the 2024 RASA election commenced on August the 24th, and this process was overseen by the approved returns officer, Michael van der Akker, VK3GHM. And I'd like to thank Michael on behalf of the RASA management and membership for performing this role. Okay, so back to the admin secretary, who happens to be Ian again, to read the report issued by the returns officer and on the details of the committee and the results of the ballot process.
Sure, Paul. Yes, that has only just come through. Michael's travelling at the moment and he's interstate, probably closer to you than he is to me at the moment, Paul. But we'll have a report. The way it works when people do submit nominations to RASA, elections at vkradioamateurs.org, I believe that was the address, the returns officer automatically gets a copy of all of that correspondence. We have 5 positions. We received nominations for 3 of them. I've been on the committee for some time. I didn't directly nominate for a role for the upcoming year, but we'll see. I wanted to see what was happening with the positions that are going. We had, actually, I'll take it from the top. That's probably the best way. The report that I've got from Michael. Election results 2024, Radio Amateur Society of Australia, to be held on the 7th of September, which is today and now. A call for nominations was made to members via email on the 24th of August, with a request for nominations for RASA committee positions for the years 2024-2025 to be received by the returns officer before the 29th of August. Only 1 nomination of each of the following positions was received before the due date and time. President, Paul, VK2 APA. Vice President, Robert, VK6 POP. General Secretary, Andrew, VK4 KCS. Therefore, these above positions can be filled with the nominees without ballot. No nominations for Treasurer and Admin Secretary were received. This position remains vacant. Declaration. I, Michael van der Akker, VK3GHM, as Returns Officer, do hereby declare that the above results are true and an accurate record of the results as submitted by nominees. And that was put together just yesterday afternoon. Okay, I think that's a summary of that process. Back to you, Paul.
Okay, thanks, Ian. Much appreciated. And okay, we'll close off, and then we'll have we can then have some Q&A after that for those that like it. Okay, in closing, the future, which is something we're always looking forward to, I guess. Okay, based on our 2021 strategic review and additional feedback, the RASA team is exploring strategies to enhance and expand amateur radio, as previous incentives are no longer efficient in the current landscape. That's a polite way of saying that, you know, the idea of just being able to pick up a device and talk overseas kind of doesn't quite cut it at the moment. This is a significant initiative, as the hobby must evolve to remain relevant, and I think a lot of people understand that. So stay tuned to QTC magazine for updates on our progress. Part of that was some of the things that happened at our meeting at my home earlier this year. We explored those options. There are many amateur radio organisations in Australia with a role to play, and we believe in solidarity is the key to securing the future and diversity of our hobby. It's our belief that the WIA President Scott Williams also understands this benefit of this approach, and we eagerly anticipate collaborating with the WIA on key issues that will lead to a better experience for all those who participate in our unique hobby. What can you expect from RASA in the coming year? We'll continue on advancing our existing roles and initiatives, and we'll probably bring on a few more new ones as they happen. But we'll continue to communicate with VK Hams regularly and openly seek input and feedback from members and the AR community in general. This is your society, and we welcome input. We'll represent Australian amateurs to the regulator, the AMC, and they'll continue. We continue to monitor and continue to provide input to the ACMA's implementation of class licensing. There's still a few little rough edges, some problems with call sign allocations just came in this week, and there's still some rough edges that need to be managed. And we take an active role in talking with the ACMA on these matters. We'll continue to lobby. This has been a little bit quiet, but we will be looking at lobbying for the 1 kilowatt for advanced licensees. The current situation is that you have to apply for a scientific license if you want to experiment in that area. We believe that as the amateur license, advanced license, is adequate for people that are wishing to participate in 1 kilowatt type communication. We'll continue to develop and promote and support QRM Guru. We support that in a number of areas, but basically financially, as mentioned earlier. We've also got amateur radio tech support, which we call a nickname ARTS, which is presently not very active, but we plan to try and improve that, the use of that as well as a resource. Education and awareness on VK regulations and the ACMA. We're looking for further development resources to help foundation licensees and new amateurs who wish to participate in the hobby. We examine the potential for further WISPR reverse BSIN networks and DMR rollouts. We've done a little bit of that. We'll probably look into how successful this has been and whether or not we should explore that space. And to develop other strategies to grow and evolve and improve Australian amateur radio by listening to all amateurs. It's communication that is the secret. We're in a communications hobby. Let's do it. Our members and volunteers are the backbone of RASA, and we couldn't do it without you guys. The committee extends a big thank you for your support, your financial contributions and the goodwill that you've shown us over the last year. With that in mind, RASA is actively seeking individuals to join our volunteer team. So don't be shy, say hello. We're not looking for people that you may be able to volunteer an hour of your time here and there, or you may be able to volunteer more, who knows. But we're looking for people that might like to participate. That could be anything from answering a few questions to taking on a larger role. So on behalf of RASA's management team, I wish you success in your amateur radio endeavours, and that concludes the 2024 RASA AGM, and I thank you for your attendance. There'll be a brief Q&A open forum after the AGM where we will answer questions. Okay, that's it. Okay, Ian. Ian's driving the working end of the Zoom meeting, so it's all. So I'll hand it back to him for the Q&A session.
Sure. Thank you, Paul. And yeah, that was quite a good summary. I might add the reverse beacon project is working quite well. That's, for those who haven't come across the reverse beacon project before, is a monitoring station listening on multiple bands of HF at the same time, scanning for CW activity, logging it to a central server, and forming part of a greater picture of where the communications is around the world. And there's only one in VK3. I think there's only 3 working in Australia. and it provides an extra little bit of input to that network from here, so that if you're in a particular part of the world and you want to know where the band is open, the Reverse Beacon Network summary screen can tell you what's going on. It involves a receiver, a HF antenna, and it just sits there perking away, collecting data and sending it into the central server. And that's something that we as a group sponsored and maintain, and it's going quite well. I think there's a lot of people who do pop on and use it for the DX detection. All right. We're still recording at this point in time, but if there are those who have any questions that they would like to put forward, this is a good time. Unmute yourself and introduce yourselves, and we'll do what we can. Was there anyone who wanted to pop up and say anything at this moment? Oh, all quiet on the Western Front.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can. G'day, Klaus.
Hello, everybody. Klaus Illert, VK3IU. Ian, how's our membership development going over the past years? Is it stable or?
It's pretty stable. The membership renewals process is still going for the current financial year. We've been marketing that for the last month, and I see them dropping in. Figures-wise, we're still, I think, the total membership in the region of about 600, something like that. The renewals come in via PayPal and by EFT, and that gets added into Member Planet as they come in. So that's still a work in progress for the current financial year. The way it works, if somebody pays a subscription any time in the current year leading up to the AGM, then they're paid through to the following AGM time, so that anyone who has renewed from January through to now is automatically a member to the end of August in 2025. And that cycle will repeat when we hit Christmas time this year.
Thank you, Ian. Another question I have, when you see the QRM kits, which is very useful, could you put a list of the items and where to source them on the QRM Guru website?
I think it's there.
It's there? Okay, cool.
There's a whole page to it and has pictures of the items that are in there. And do better than that, I can reach behind the monitor and pick one up.
Yeah, I got one kit. I found it very useful.
But yeah, we've been buying the parts in, and that's been good. Ferrite rings and clamps. And it's a starting point. If you've got a QRM problem and you want to try and know where the problem was, that is a good way to surround a particular noise source and see if you can make a difference.
Okay, thanks, Ian. That's all. I go on mute again.
Okay.
Mute.
Any other stations wanting to call in?
Yes.
Mike.
Good morning.
Mike.
VK Sept, Tara.
Oh, and Roy. Okay.
Yes.
I saw Mike put his hand up, but you've got the screen at the moment. Roy, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. And I just would like to say thank you to RASA for doing a wonderful job. As an old-timer, licensed since 1958, I'm really happy with it. And it knocks the socks off WIA, which I've got nothing to do with. Apart from that, you're doing a wonderful job. Thank you very much. Best wishes to all. And thank you for the meeting.
Greatly appreciated, Roy. That's very good.
Cheers.
And Mike, you did have your hand up. I can see you in there, VK3KTO.
Yes, good morning all. Unfortunately, I put my call sign on my image there, but it didn't work for some reason. Yes, I'd like to commend particularly the Foundation License study notes, and particularly when reference was made to a well-known parasitic array that OODA was added to Yagi, something that unfortunately doesn't happen. poor old Uda, I think, has been forgotten. They were originally called Yagi Udas, but somewhere along the line, poor old Uda dropped out. And I've been conducting a one-man campaign to restore Uda to his right place. And I'm very glad to see that RASA has done so. Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Yeah, he did play a big role, and I think it's important to give credit where it is due, but people do also have that tendency to abbreviate wherever they can. And it has sort of been dropped off from Yagi, but there it is. The Foundation Study Guide, this is edition 1 that's been in circulation now for a couple of months, and we got some feedback on a couple of little bits and pieces, and there will be another update to that coming out soon. And one of the advantages of having a digital copy is that we can just dive in, add more content and make corrections. And it doesn't matter how many times you get people to proofread a document, there are always little things that pop up, and there will be something coming up, I think in the next month, something like that, as an update to that document. So we'll be looking forward to that. Yeah, I'll take the moment also to speak of some of the events that are in progress, because Perth Tech is coming up and Bob is the mover and shaker of that. And I might let Bob have some words about that in a moment. There's another one at the end of the year, Antennapalooza, which is set in Gippsland. And it's a field day where people get to put up some antennas, listen to a few interviews, presentations, and just have a good amateur radio time over a couple of days. And we're going to have a demonstration antenna this year of a curtain array on 20 metres, a temporary one, and we'll see how that one comes up as well. If nothing else, it'll be a talking point, but hopefully it'll function as well. Yes, Bob, would you like to speak about Perth Tech and a good opportunity to describe what people would expect if they roll up? Over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. Victorians would know that I copied Gips Tech, and so similar format, and but it's been quite successful. And this year, our opening presenter is a bloke called Munir Salem, Kilo 6 Alpha Quebec, and he's going to talk about free DV and machine learning. And I don't know if you've heard about the free DV project. It was kicked off by David Rowe. Gosh, what's his call sign? VK5DGR or something like that. Anyway, but now Munir is leading up the software development part of it, and so he's going to talk about the free DV project and how it's using machine learning to improve the digital voice stuff on the HF bands. And so we're going to Zoom him in. He's in the USA, so he's on Zoom. We can't afford to bring him. Then we got Peter Hall. He's a professor at Curtin University, VK6 horsepower, HP. He's just set up a low frequency, medium frequency station, utilizing parts of an old NDB facility in Manjimup in the southwest. And so he's going to talk about how he set that up and where it's going. And a few other good presenters. There's one group down in the south at Mandurah. They've got quite a symbiotic relationship with the state emergency services. Wyson died here, and it's about to be revitalised, but there's never been clear about how we engage, if we do at all, with the state emergency services. But anyway, this group have a relationship with them. They have a memorandum of understanding. And so I've asked them to come and talk about how that all works, what the triggers are for them being activated, and and what exactly it is that they do when they are activated. Then we're going to have a brief one from the guys who are rejigging Wyson, and they've already been talking to SES. Chris BK3QB is going to generate a conversation about the 40-metre band review. There's some other more practical ones. There's a guy from the VHF group's got a couple of guys. They're going to talk about how they use those tiny VNAs for doing their work in measuring all their gear. Yeah, so there's a couple more just with practical stuff. There's one guy who's an excellent presenter, and he's going to talk about what led him to repairing his own gear, what the traps are, and what he's learnt from it. So there's a good mix of the theoretical and practical. So it's going to be good. It's at a venue just outside the metropolitan area in the Perth Hills, surrounded by bush, wildflowers, and kangaroos. And yeah, excuse me. It's runs all day Saturday, sundowner afterwards, and we also provide parking spots for caravans and campers. So yeah, it can be live-in too. That's
Bob,
it.
I think Chris was going to do a bit of a presentation on the reverse beacon network as well, wasn't he, to the audience over there?
I said so, but he probably will.
I think it was somewhat on his list of things to do.
Yeah.
I hope that works, because it's a very effective system, and it's one that not everyone quite knows about. So I think if he can spread the word, it'll be a good thing.
I think there was a node set up here, but it doesn't seem to have happened.
There was one operating. I did have a little bit of a check, and there was one operating. I think it still is.
Okay.
There's one up in VK4.
Yeah. But anyway, that's Perth Tech. Good affairs going with Virgin and all those other mobs. Will make you feel welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. And I think it makes a big difference to keep events like that rolling along. It keeps the focus on the hobby.
Yes.
And provides an opportunity for people to share the work that they're doing. And really, that's what it's all about. I like to see these sorts of events popping up all over the country.
Someone emailed me the other day and said, congratulations on your ability to get a bunch of awkward nerds together.
Sometimes it's like herding cats. A couple of other things that are coming up. We've got a QTC Light magazine coming up very, very soon, which is just a synopsis of the latest action points and news in amateur radio. At the end of the month, there'll be another major QTC magazine, which will have some articles in there. I've popped one in for how to design circuit boards for those who are more comfortable behind a soldering iron than a microphone and want to have a go at building circuit boards. There's a feature article on how to do that, how to get it all together. But they're fairly thick editions, those ones, and I hope people enjoy the reading of those magazines. Anyone else to say something this morning? All's quiet at this point, I think. Did you have anything to add, Paul?
I think not. I think we've pretty well summed everything up, and we've given everyone a bit of a synopsis on what's going on and where we're going. We've given people an opportunity to talk and give us some feedback. I think I'm good. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. The last thing I'll make a comment of is that it's all an ongoing process. We've been rolling from one topic to another. We had the big change to a class license. We had the introduction of our Foundation Study Guide. We had our Welcome to Amateur Radio book. There's things that we're trying to do to help bring the amateur community together. Later this year, we want to try and launch another initiative, and there'll be more about that coming, but hopefully it'll change the way in which we present amateur radio, both to ourselves and to the public at large. And we've got to improve our gateway into the hobby to try and maintain the interest in it. Okay, unless there's any other comments, I think that's just about it, Paul. We could wrap it up and we'll get this stream to YouTube for those who weren't able to experience the meeting directly.
Okay, that's great. Look, I thank everyone for coming along today. It's been quite a successful, only a small number, but it's been a successful little group, and I think it's gone very well. So thank you very much for attending. And just keep in mind that we're approachable, and can always email us or catch us here and there via either Facebook or email, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, so thank you very much.